All right. Shalom, family. It's your brother Kanaiba coming at you once again. And in this particular video, I'm going to go over the shooting that happened earlier this morning in Sacramento. Okay? As you can see from the title here, okay, of this particular article from End Time Headlines, right? And of course, it says developing 6 killed and 9 injured in downtown Sacramento shooting. Okay. Now, at the time of this particular article that was put out by End Time Headlines, of course, it was 6 killed and 9 injured, right? And when you look at this whole story, when you look at the shooting that happened, there's very little doubt in my mind that this was actually ritualistic. Okay, looking at everything that happened, all the numbers, the number of people that died, the names of the streets and the street numbers that's associated in this particular story. To me, and this is just my critique, but this whole thing seems to be esoteric. Okay, it seems to be ritualistic. Okay, and I believe this was a sacrifice. Now, when dealing with the names of months, okay, when dealing with April, May, and June, those names are pretty much based on mother goddess figures. Okay, of course, April is really named after Aphrodite. Okay, and Aphrodite is the Greek equivalent to Ishtar. Okay. Now, of course, Ishtar is Easter, and Easter is going to happen later on this month, right? So, and just to deal with the other months, of course, May is dealing with the May Queen, and June is for Juno. Okay. But going back to April, like I said, you have Easter later on this month, and what you're going to notice is it's around this time you're actually going to see a lot more mass shootings, okay? And if not mass shootings, you'll start to see, usually you'll see the death of some prominent figure in society, okay? Be it a celebrity, athlete, or what have you, right? But all of this is just simply ritualistic, okay? They worship and venerate, different pagan gods of old, okay? And they really believe in this stuff, and they have to, give ritualistic sacrifices to these false gods, right? So here again, like I said, we're in the month of April, which is for, of course, the mother goddess, okay? Now, mind you, right now, we're actually in the midst of what's called Lent, okay? When you look at Christianity or Roman Catholicism, okay, we're in the midst of what's known as Lent, which is also pagan, okay? Lent is what you read about in the Bible, in the book of Ezekiel, when you read about the women who were weeping for Tammuz, okay? Lent is in veneration of Tammuz. Tammuz is the son of Ishtar, okay? So, like I said again, it makes sense that this shooting happened during this time, okay? Like I said before, this is really just in veneration of the mother goddess and really her son as well, Tammuz, okay? But of course, that's just my critique, okay? But anyway, let's move forward and let's actually begin by getting into this article. Okay, so opening up, this is actually the beginning of the article posted by End Time Headlines, right? And it reads, 6 people are dead and at least 9 others have been injured after a shooting in downtown Sacramento. The Sacramento Police Department says the shooting happened early Sunday morning, okay? And let's point out 2 things here, okay? Number one, notice it says 6 people are dead. There goes the number 6. We already know that the number 6 is esoteric on the left-hand side and how they venerate the number 6, right? But then it says at least 9 others are dead, okay? So when you put that number 6 and 9 together, it actually means something, okay? It goes into the famous phrase, as above, so below. That's what that's going into. In my past videos, I've showed pictures of what, is modernly called the Baphomet, right? That statue. And notice that statue is always pointing up with one hand and pointing down with the other, okay? That's a symbol for that phrase, as above, so below. And that's what the numbers 6 and 9 represent when you put them together, okay? Number 2, okay? This happened early Sunday morning, okay? Which, again, is simply in veneration of what? The sun, okay? Now, Ishtar, of course, is a goddess figure that's represented by the sun, okay? And so is Tammuz. He's a quote-unquote god figure represented by what? The sun, okay? This is why this happened early Sunday morning, okay? But, of course, that's just my critique, okay? Now, when you look at this article happened earlier today. Now, we're going to go to another article from the Sacramento Bee, and it's going to tell you that it was actually 6 that died, but it was 12 injured, okay? And that article actually was posted later today, okay? But either way you want to look at this, okay, even if it's 6 dead and 12 injured, that would mean that it was a sum total of 18 people that were victimized here, okay? In which the number 18 is just symbolic for 666, okay? So either way, okay, this whole thing just seems to be esoteric to me, okay? But moving forward with the article, and it reads, video posted on Twitter, which we're going to watch in a minute, showed people running through the street as the sound of rapid gunfire could be heard in the background. Video showed multiple ambulances had been sent to the scene. Okay, so we're actually going to watch a few videos dealing with this situation, and we're going to touch on everything that's said within those videos. Okay, so now scrolling up a bit more, and the article reads, police provided few details about the circumstances surrounding the shooting, but said in a tweet that a large police presence will remain and the scene remains active. Okay. Phone messages seeking comment were left with the Sacramento police. Okay. So we see here that the police are saying that the scene remains active, which will let us know what? That I'm guessing the shooters were not caught, which is very, very strange, seeing there was so many people there. Okay, but we're going to get into that in a minute. Okay, but just keep that in mind. All right, so now let's move forward. So scrolling up some more, and the article reads, police initially had reported multiple victims after the attack fueled chaos on a downtown street early Sunday. Authorities cordoned off an 8-block area and said the investigation of the shooting was underway. And as we move forward in this video, we're going to get the names of these streets, okay, that was cordoned off. Okay. Now, moving forward, it says officers located at least 15 shooting victims. And of course, like I said before, I believe that number raised to 18. Okay. But it goes on to say, including 6 who are deceased. And again, the fact that it's 6 dead, that just lets me know that this was ritualistic. Okay. When you see certain numbers in these type of stories, it should be an indicator that, something is rotten in Denmark. Okay. This wasn't by happenstance. right? So it goes on to say, police tweeted, conditions of the victims unknown at this time. Please avoid the area as a large police presence will remain and the scene remains active. Okay, so scrolling up a bit more, and the article ends by saying this. Police provided few other details, and there was no word of any arrest. So I was right, okay? It seems like nobody got arrested, okay? And now, to quote the Brother Chronicles of Judah 144, in one of his past videos, he pretty much said, we live in a society of surveillance, okay? So if you have a crime like this and nobody gets caught, it's because they don't want them to get caught. Roughly paraphrasing what he said, but it's true. Okay, that's why I said this whole thing was ritualistic. Okay, whoever did this, and this is just my critique, but whoever did this, they were meant to do this. Okay, they were, pretty much sanctioned to do this by, the quote unquote powers that be, so to speak. Okay, for lack of a better term, right? But it goes on to say, the shooting comes a month after 5 people were killed when a man opened fire at a Sacramento church and killed his 3 children, then fatally shot himself, authorities said. A 5th person also died in the shooting. Okay, so now that we've gotten through this article, let's actually go to a news report that actually touches on what happened earlier this morning concerning the shooting. Okay, let's take a look.
We're breaking into your regularly scheduled programming. We're reporting a mass shooting in downtown Sacramento. ABC 10's Luke Cleary is on the scene. Luke, where are you? What are you seeing? And what are you hearing?
Monica, I'm standing on the corner of 9th and K Street.
Okay, now notice, he said he's standing on the corner of 9th and K Street, right? There goes that number 9, which is another esoteric number that I've talked about in past videos, okay? The number 9 actually represents the quote-unquote divine feminine or the mother goddess, okay? The number 9 also represents the end of cycles, okay? It's a number that supposedly represents death as well, okay? It represents the end of a cycle. Because when you deal with the number 9, when you deal with single digits, it's the last single digit before you get to the double digits, or like from 9 to 10. Okay, even when dealing with double digits, the last double digit number before you get to the triple digits is what? 99. Then it goes to 100, right? So forth and so on. So the number 9 represents the end of a cycle. Okay, it represents death. Okay, and it also represents death and rebirth. But I'm not going to get too deep into that. You can watch my past videos where I actually go deeper into the number 9. But the fact that 9th Street is involved here, okay, and the number 9 is a number that represents the quote-unquote mother goddess, lets me further know that this was ritualistic. Okay, let's continue.
It's, of course, a popular nightlife district here in downtown Sacramento, where we understand there may have been a mass shooting. Multiple victims here. I'm just going to step out of the shot here as you can take a look toward the corner of 10th and K. As you can see, there are a number of Sacramento police squad cars. Now, the latest information that we have confirmed from Sacramento police tweeting about an hour ago, they say that the closure extends from 9th to 13th Street between L and J Street.
Now, did you hear that? Okay, did you hear that? He said that the police reported that the closure extends from 9th Street to 13th Street between L and J Street. Okay, so again, you have the number 9, you had 9th Street, and the number 13, 13th Street, both esoteric numbers on the left-hand side, okay? both actually representing the so-called mother goddess. Okay, the number 13 on the left-hand side, what they claim that the number 13 is supposed to represent the Mother Mary, okay, or the mother of the Messiah. But we know that that's just a front that they use, because they'll use Mary as a front for the so-called mother goddess. Okay, I think I touched on this in the first video series I did about Kobe Bryant. It was titled Bad Boys for Life, Mamba for Life, that 5-part video series. Okay, but yes, okay, the number 13 represents the so-called mother goddess, and it also represents the divine serpent. Okay, now notice it also said that it extends from 9th to 13th Street between J and L Street, correct? So now we're going into that vibration of the number 22, okay? When you take 9th and 13th Street, 9 plus 13, of course, is what? 22, right? Then it said between J and L Street. Now, J is the 10th letter in the alphabet. L is the 12th letter in the alphabet. 10 plus 12 is what? 22. Okay. And of course, we're in the year 2022. And I told you all before that the year 2022 was going to be a doozy. And we're only in the beginning of this year, and look at everything that's happened thus far. Okay.
Officers are investigating a shooting with multiple victims. They say conditions of the victims are unknown at this time, but they do ask that you avoid the area. As again, there is a large police presence here. It will remain here for quite some time as this scene and this investigation remains active. We are working with our sources at Sacramento Police Department, our public information officers, to learn what we can. But we are also standing here with Barry Axis of Voice of the Youth. He says that he has been here since about 2 this morning and has actually seen some of the victims. He's been working with people to help out. Barry, can you just tell us what you've seen this morning so far?
Horrific. I mean, a lot of victims with blood. Just watching some of the families that didn't know if their loved one was alive, running and trying to figure out what was happening. People distraught. People discombobulated. It just was horrific. I'm hearing people saying, I lost my sister. I lost my sister. And I lost my brother. Heartbreaking.
Barry, how did you hear about what happened here, and what time or so did you arrive?
Like literally got here by 2:30. I got a call. Katie Venezuela, the councilwoman, she also called me and we talked. And I said I was already here on my way. And just as soon as I walked, you just saw a chaotic scene. Police all over the place, victims with blood all over their bodies, folks screaming, folks crying, people saying, where is my brother? Mothers coming and trying to identify who their child was. It's just an unfortunate situation that it constantly is occurring in our community.
Now, notice he said the situation is constantly happening in our community, which lets me further know that the majority of the victims, if not all the victims in this situation, were indeed Israelites. Okay, that's clear. Okay, but we're going to touch on that a little bit more when we actually look at the other videos dealing with this situation, and you're clearly going to see that these were Israelites that this happened to. Okay, so let's continue.
I'm just shocked at that someone or somebody's would come here in a place where it should be safe and do something as heinous as this with multiple victims, not only just shot, but dead in our city, right here in downtown, in a safe space.
Thank you very much, Barry. I know you'll probably be sticking around throughout this morning, and we'll be checking in again with you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. And so we will again be checking in with all of you as well as we continue to work this scene, speak with our Sacramento Police Department sources to learn more about this investigation. Again, right now what we know is that there have been multiple victims in a shooting downtown Sacramento, a popular nightlife district. We believe that this happened sometime after midnight, maybe around 2 in the morning, Monica. And again, we will continue to work this scene.
Now, did y'all peep that? Okay, you cannot make this stuff up. Look at the first responder truck. Okay, you see the number on the truck? It's number 22. So y'all think I be BSing when I be saying stuff like this, but listen, I'm 100% serious when I say stuff like this, okay? And notice how when you watch the video, the truck rolled up and it's like it stopped on purpose, trying to bring emphasis on that number 22 on the truck. And then notice how the reporter immediately looked over at the truck as if he was cued to put emphasis on the truck. He's about to say something about the truck as well, okay? But it's like he was cued to say something about the truck, bring emphasis on the truck, okay? Because like I said before, and this is just my critique, but this whole thing is esoteric and it's ritualistic. Okay, let's continue.
And learn what we can. As you can see, first responders kind of coming in and out of this perimeter. But for those who are just sort of starting their day this early Sunday morning, it's definitely advised that you avoid this area as investigators continue their work. Monica.
Thank you, Luke. We are now hearing that 15 people have been shot. 6 people are confirmed dead. Again, this is a mass shooting that we are seeing right here in downtown Sacramento. And we will be back at 5:30 with more information as it comes into our newsroom. Stay with us.
All right, so that was actually the end of that particular news report. Now let's go to another video where we actually have witnesses who actually speak up on the situation. Okay, and I'm gonna, give my commentary and my critique on that particular video. Okay, let's get to it.
All we heard was just gunshots, at least automatic gun. After that, we heard gunshots fired back. As soon as we heard the first gunshots, all we did was just hide. That's the first thing that came in our mind.
All right, so I can already see them, probably trying to blame this on gun violence, but, I call BS, okay? I really do. I believe this, like I said before, is actually ritualistic, okay? But going back to what I said earlier, okay, when this video opened up, and, the brother was speaking, he actually looked like he could have been from the Northern Kingdom of Israel. But then as the video goes on, what do you see? You see brothers, okay, Israelites, and a challenger. Then you see a few sisters actually walk past and run past. You see one sister that was hysteric, the Eve there that was hysteric. Probably somebody close to her was actually hurt or maybe even killed. But the whole point being is, like I said before, when you look at this situation, the main people or the only people that are actually victims here who were involved, victims, were Israelites. Okay? That's the point that I was making. Okay? Now, people may not want to hear this, but, this could very well be judgment. Okay? Because as the Bible already lets us know that nobody dies innocent. Okay? And when you look at all the brothers and sisters that were there, they partying and living it up. And you got to understand, we are in the last days here, okay? The reporter from the last video we watched, he already said that area was known for the nightlife, okay? So they're partying, living it up, pretty much in that YOLO spirit, which the Bible talks about, I believe, in Wisdom of Solomon, I want to say the second chapter. But the point being is that's not the spirit to be in right now, okay? These people, their minds is not on the Most High Yahweh. We're living in a time where we should be in self-examination and preparing ourselves for the second coming of Yahweh Shai, okay? But anyway, let's continue on with the video.
We heard like several rapid, like a fully automatic weapon being fired. And then there was a response by another weapon that seemed like a semi-automatic, lower caliber. It kind of sounded like a Uzi, either a Uzi or even AK-47. It sounded like it was powerful. And then they fired again. And we heard at least 50 rounds fired. So they're firing right into the crowd. I mean, I've seen a lady go down when we were running. This lady went down. I guess she got hit in the leg, like right across from us. So the bullets were flying everywhere. They were flying.
Okay, so as we saw there, as that gentleman was giving his account of what happened, you saw what looked to be more Jakes. Okay, that's all you're really seeing. Okay, you may have saw one, maybe two people who looked to be Edomites, but for the most part, all I'm really seeing are Jakes and Eves. Okay, and when I put on the next clip, you're going to see without a shadow of a doubt that, you know, this is happening to Israelites, okay, when I put on the next clip, okay? But now I'm going to let this particular video play out, all right?
Pretty scary.
Truck 2, I had Medic 1 stating they were on.
Okay, so as we saw there, this particular video ended with what? Two Eves there watching, you know, somebody that they know be put into the ambulance, okay? Most likely a loved one or a very close friend or something like that. But here again, still more Israelites, right? Now, from there, let's go to the next clip, and you're going to see without a shadow of a doubt that, again, this happened to our people, okay? And like I said before, 9 times out of 10, the way this is looking, even though I say that this is esoteric and it's ritualistic, this is still judgment, okay? Because what you have to understand is, you know, the Most High Yahweh is in control of this whole thing. This is his script. He controls both the right-hand side and the left-hand side, okay? Nothing happens without him and, you know, his permission, okay? He's orchestrating this whole thing. This is his movie, okay? So now let's go to the next clip, all right? All right, so this is the beginning of the next video, okay? And there's really not any commentary or, you know, reporting in this particular video, but what this video shows clearly is that the people here are indeed Israelites, okay? Now, we've seen it in the other clips, okay, but you're going to see even more here, okay? You're going to see, you know, just how chaotic it is, okay? You're going to see police running through the street, police cars and things of this nature, okay? So, without further ado, let's get into this particular clip, okay?
happened? Hey, you guys, what happened? Hey, you guys, what happened?
All right. So as I said before, you see in this clip that, these were Israelites, okay, that were involved, right? And you see all the commotion with the police and things of this nature. But this should just lead you to think, okay, how looking at this situation, how is it really going to be during Jacob's trouble when there are no police? Okay, when you see not just 6 people die, but you see hundreds of people die. Okay, you see mass murders on a large scale. Okay, you see nothing but chaos. Okay, and that's been a running theme in this video. Okay, we've been hearing the word chaotic. Well, this is nothing compared to what's to come. This is just a very, very, very small preview of what's to come, okay? So things like this should stop you or lead you to stop and think and meditate about what the scriptures say about that great temptation that's on the way, known as Jacob's trouble, okay? All right, so this is going to be the last clip, okay, when dealing with this situation that happened in Sacramento, downtown Sacramento to be exact. And, of course, this is going to be the same brother we saw in the first clip, the news report, okay? He was an activist, right? And like I said, we're going to, go over some of the things that he actually says in this particular interview. Okay, we're going to go over it from a biblical vantage point. Okay, so now let's get to it. All right.
When I first got on the scene, I just saw victims. And unfortunately, victims with blood all over their clothing and, taking out glass on their bodies, individuals screaming about victims and family members that they saw take their last breath. It was hectic. It was crazy. It was very emotional. It was supercharged. It was tragic in all kind of ways. Senseless violence happening in our community, downtown, in an area that most folks would never think would happen, but you now have 6 dead, 15 injured.
So did y'all hear the last thing he said? He said this happened in downtown Sacramento, a place where you would never think something like this would happen, roughly paraphrasing what he said. Well, there lies the issue, okay? Our people, they put too much trust in this place known as America, okay? You think that this place represents safety for us, okay? That this is a place of rest, right? But when you read the Bible, it tells us the complete opposite. This place is not our rest, okay? This is not a place of comfort. This is still the place of our captivity. Okay, I went over this, I believe, in one of my last videos. Okay, when you read Revelation 11 and 8, it talks about how their dead bodies, now this is spiritual, it says their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city. Now that word street there, when you look it up in the blue letter, of course it means street, but it also means a broad way. Okay. And Yahweh Shah already said that, wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction or death. OK, so that's letting us know that America, that great street, the streets of that great city, that America represents destruction or death. America is that broad way that leads to death for us. This is not a place of safety. This is a place of death for us.
What was this scene like compared to the things that you've seen before?
A lot more victims. It was a atmosphere that is usually centered in having a good time.
And this is another part of the problem, okay? Right now is not the time to really be in the spirit of having a good time, okay? Like I said earlier, we are in the last days. This thing is about to come to a complete end. Okay? We are really in the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble. Okay? And it's going to get far, far worse. So this is not the time to really be in that spirit of having a good time. Okay? Not saying that you're supposed to be woe is me all the time, but just being in that spirit of having a good time, it's just not where it's at right now. Okay. And I guarantee you, these people who are in that spirit, their minds are not on the Most High Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shai. Okay. Their minds is not on, quote unquote, repentance and getting their spirits right, in which that's the spirit we should be in right now. A repentive spirit, okay, examining ourselves and trying to make sure that we're right, so we're deemed worthy to be delivered from this place. Okay.
This is not a place where you would think something like that would happen. And just the amount of people and their stories and how terrified they were of what happened. It was just all of a sudden folks were having a good time, and all of a sudden folks were saying like there was some issues happened on another side of folks were having an altercation, and then there was gunshots, and it wasn't the normal pop pop pop. It was the
So listening to what he just said, the way that they'll probably try to spin the narrative of this story, they'll probably say that this whole thing occurred based off of an altercation. Okay. And as we know, this was pretty much, Israelites that were involved. Right. So that's probably the narrative that they're going to try to spin to say that that's why everything transpired. OK, it's based off of an altercation. And, it could have been. OK, that, you could have had a couple of Jakes that was on some nigga nonsense. But as for me, and looking at this from a spiritual vantage point, I'm not buying it. OK, this whole thing simply seems like it was ritualistic. OK, I believe that those deaths were indeed sacrifices. OK, that's just the way I see it. And that's just my critique. I'm not saying it's true, but that's just my critique. OK,
so it was some high powered artillery out here.
All right. So that was the end of that particular clip. And of course, that particular clip ended with the brother doing another interview. OK, so now I'm going to end my video going into the scriptures and, pretty much going over a couple of verses, based upon what he was really saying in that particular clip. OK, because remember, what he was saying in that clip is, people were pretty much out having a good time. And, this situation actually happened in downtown Sacramento, which is a place where you would never think something like that would happen. OK, and that's what I want to deal with, because like I said, Jake and Eve is far, far too comfortable. OK, far too comfortable. OK, you think that this is a place of rest, and you think that this is a time to, just be out having fun, living it up. OK, and that's not the time that we're supposed to be in. OK, that's not the spirit we're supposed to be in. And this is not a place of rest, and it's not a place of security. OK, and I'm going to prove that right now. We're going to go into Deuteronomy 28 and look at some the curses that's upon the children of Israel for breaking the law, statutes, and commandments. OK, and we're going to see if this place is really a place of security for us. OK, so let's get to it. So moving forward, going to the scriptures, this is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 65. And it reads, "And among these nations shalt thou find no ease." Now, this is talking about when we get to the place of our captivity, okay? Because in the previous verse, in verse 64, it talks about how the Lord would scatter us into all nations. And, once we get to these places of our captivity, we would serve other gods of wood and stone, which our fathers have not known. Okay, that was in verse 64. So verse 65 is dealing with the place of our captivity. Okay, so starting over from the top, it says, and among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. Again, this is not the place of our rest. Okay, the land of our captivity is not the place of our rest. Okay, this is not a place to be comfortable, to be having fun and living it up, so to speak. Okay, especially in these last days. Okay, but continuing on, and it reads, but Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart. And again, the heart is dealing with the mind, right? And it says, and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. Okay, why are we going to have a sorrowful mind? The answer is in the next verse, verse 66, and it reads, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee. Okay, let's pause right there, because the gentleman that just did the interview, he said that, you never would think that something like this could happen in downtown Sacramento. Well, the scriptures tell us, dealing with the Israelites, it says that our life would hang in doubt. Okay, it didn't say our life would hang in doubt except in downtown Sacramento. Okay, it lets us know that in the place of our captivity that our life would hang in doubt before us. Okay, continuing forward, it says, and thou shalt fear day and night. Okay, there's not a time where it's a break where, okay, my life is secure now. Okay, no, it says you shall fear day and night. Okay, concerning your life, right? Then it goes on to say what? And shalt have no or have none assurance of thy life. Okay, so what is that, letting us know? That in this place of our captivity, especially this last captivity dealing with America, Babylon the Great, we have no assurance of our life. Okay, every single day that you leave out the house and you actually are able to make it back home, that's Yahweh having mercy on you. Okay, that's actually him showing you mercy and grace by simply allowing you to return back home. Okay, because every time that you leave your house, your life is really at stake if you're an Israelite. Okay, being that we are under these curses. Okay, and this particular situation that just happened in downtown Sacramento should let you know that these scriptures are indeed true. Okay, you leave your house going out to have a good time and you don't get to make it back. That good time turned into a time of mourning. Okay, and like I said before, this could very well be judgment, and 9 times out of 10 it is. Okay, it's time for our people to wake up and put things in its proper perspective. Okay, your focus should be the Most High Yahweh and His Son Yahweh Shai, and getting yourself right. Okay, because again, real judgment is coming to this place, and we're already seeing it. Okay, this place is going to be completely destroyed, and you don't want to be amongst the people who are going to be destroyed right along with this place. Okay, so with that, I believe this is actually a good place to bring the video to an end. And of course, this video was about the situation that conspired in downtown Sacramento. Okay, and of course, and as always, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. I want to thank all you brothers and sisters for tuning in. Of course, I hope you were edified. And until next time, Shalom, family.